Have you ever thought about, like, how cool it would be to paint with words?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, imagine just describing a scene in your head,
Uh-huh.
and poof, it appears right in front of you.
Wow.
Well, that's kind of what's got everyone so excited about this AI tool.
Yeah.
It's called VisualVerse.
VisualVerse.
Yeah. And, it's trended like crazy.
Really?
I've seen that hashtag
Oh, yeah.
VisualVerse magic, I think it is.
Oh, that's catchy.
Yeah,
It is.
I like it.
Yeah. So VisualVerse is getting super popular because it lets you do just that.
Oh, wow.
Describe something,
Okay.
and then boom, AI art.
So cool.
And it's attracting all kinds of people,
Uh-huh.
the AI enthusiasts,
Mhm.
but also, people who are just starting to figure out like what AI can even do.
Yeah, right.
So it seems pretty accessible is what I'm saying.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's interesting what you said about, like, capturing your imagination
Hmm.
and turning it into something visual.
Right.
Because in the past, you were kind of limited by, like...
How good you were with a brush or a pencil.
Exactly.
Now with this, it's almost like your words are the art supplies.
It's like a digital genie
I love that.
for art,
Yeah.
But how well does it actually work?
Good question.
That's what we're going to figure out today.
Okay.
We are diving deep into VisualVerse.
Let's do it.
We're going to break down the features, what makes it different from other AI art tools,
Mm-hmm.
how to actually use it,
Mhm.
and, what kind of impact it's having on the creative world in general.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not just about,
Yeah.
making art just because
Yeah.
think about all the visuals we use every single day.
Oh, my gosh.
Social media posts,
Yeah.
websites, presentations. I mean,
Everywhere.
yeah, it could totally change how we share ideas.
For sure.
Big time.
Huge.
Huge.
So let's start with, like, the nuts and bolts.
Okay.
How does this thing even work?
Yeah.
You said something before about words becoming art supplies.
Oh, right. Yeah.
How does that translate into an actual picture?
Well, it uses something called text-to-image generation,
Okay.
which basically means you type in what you want to see,
Okay.
and the AI makes it happen.
So, like, if I wanted to see a cat
Uh-huh.
wearing a tiny crown,
Here.
sitting on a stack of books, I would just thread that in.
Yep. And the AI would use its algorithms to, like, analyze the words
Okay.
and then translate them into an image.
But there's other tools out there that can do that, too.
Right.
What makes VisualVerse different?
So a couple things. First, the level of customization is amazing.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
not just like a generic image of a cat on books.
Uh-huh.
You get to pick the style you want,
Oh,
like photorealistic or something more abstract or like a painting.
wow.
It even has preset styles that you can pick from,
cool.
or you can combine different elements to make something totally unique.
So I can get really specific.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not limited to just a few choices.
I like that.
You're in control.
And that's where the real magic comes in, right?
I think so.
You get this real-time feedback as
Yeah.
you're creating.
Yeah.
So can you give me an example?
Okay, so let's say you add to the description.
Okay.
The cat's fur is midnight blue, and the crown is a little crooked.
Okay. I like it.
And then the image updates as you're typing
Whoa.
to show you those changes.
That's so cool.
It's like you're having a conversation with the AI
Uh-huh.
and making the art together.
I can see how that would be so addictive.
Totally.
Just like detail after detail.
Yeah.
Leather-bound books, a glow coming from the pages.
Oh, I like it.
You're really involved in the process.
And that's what's so cool.
Yeah.
It's not about replacing us, human creativity.
Right.
It's about giving us new ways to express ourselves.
Like new tools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brand new tools.
It's like this dance between imagination and AI.
Yeah, I like that.
But I got to be honest. When I first heard about AI art,
Uh-huh.
I was like, is that really art?
Oh, yeah.
If a machine is doing the work?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a question that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about, like, what does it even mean to be an artist?
Yeah. Especially now
Especially now.
with all this, digital stuff going on.
Totally. And what's clear is that this is a tool,
Uh-huh.
just like a paintbrush.
Right.
You can use it to make amazing things or,
Yeah.
not so amazing things.
Right. It depends on the artist.
It really does.
It comes down to the human
Yeah.
guiding the tool, using their vision and intention.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's not about the AI taking over. It's
Yeah.
about it helping us
To be more creative.
to be more creative.
I like that.
And, it's pushing us to think about art in new ways,
It is.
which is exciting.
It really is.
Yeah.
Speaking of exciting, have you heard about this VisualVerse challenge online?
Oh, yeah.
What's that all about?
It's another thing that makes VisualVerse so cool.
Okay.
It's the community aspect. it's not just you by yourself.
Uh-huh.
It's a shared experience.
I like that.
Yeah, people are sharing what they make, getting feedback, inspiring each other.
That's so cool.
It's like this big collaborative space
Yeah.
where everyone is pushing the limits of what this tool can do.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So how do I actually use VisualVerse?
Okay.
Let's walk through it. Like,
Yeah.
how do I get started?
Well, it's pretty simple.
Okay.
You can either go to their website
Okay.
or download the app.
Got it.
You make an account,
Okay.
and then you're good to go.
Right. So I sign up.
Yep.
Then what?
There's a text box
Okay.
where you type in your description,
Mm-hmm.
and then you choose a style from all these presets.
So if I want that cat on the stack of books, I just type that in.
Exactly.
Choose a style and then hit generate.
You can do that.
Okay.
But the really fun part is what comes next.
Oh, what's that?
Refinement.
Okay.
Remember that real-time feedback we were talking about? So once you've got that first image,
Okay.
you can start playing around with it.
Miley.
Yeah, there are all these sliders that you can use to change things.
Oh, cool.
Like the colors, the composition,
Uh-huh.
even how detailed it is.
So like add elements or take them away?
Yeah,
Change the perspective.
totally.
Wow.
You can keep tweaking it
Yeah.
until it looks exactly how you want.
It's almost like a video game.
You know, it kind of is.
Yeah.
You're always experimenting.
See what happens.
To see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes it so much fun.
And people are getting really creative with it.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing.
It's not just pretty pictures.
Yeah.
It's like they're telling stories with it,
Mm-hmm.
expressing emotions,
Oh,
creating whole worlds.
that's incredible.
I know. It's crazy.
And we've been talking about, artists and people who do this for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But what about content creators, designers,
Oh, yeah. Good point.
marketers,
This could be huge for them.
anyone who needs to make visuals?
I'm already thinking about all the things I could use it for.
Me too.
But before we get too ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
let's talk about like the realities of using VisualVerse.
Right.
What are the
And-
limitations?
Yeah, that's important.
What should people know?
Well, the potential is huge,
Uh-huh.
but there are some things that VisualVerse and all AI art generators are still working on.
Okay, like what?
Well, AI is really good at recognizing patterns
Mm-hmm.
and copying styles,
Okay.
but sometimes it struggles with ideas that are more complex
Right.
or abstract.
Oh, I see.
So you might have to be more specific in your descriptions than you think
Okay.
to get the result that you're after.
So it's still learning.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a partnership
Yeah.
between you and the machine.
That makes sense.
And you might be surprised sometimes.
Oh, how so?
The AI might interpret what you say in a way you weren't expecting,
Oh, that's funny.
which can be hilarious.
Yeah.
But it also shows you that you need to be patient.
Right.
Experiment.
Okay.
You might not get the perfect image on the first try,
Right.
but that's okay.
It's part of the process.
Yeah,
It's like those expectation versus reality memes.
exactly.
Yeah.
But for art,
But for AI art, I like
Yeah.
it.
it's funny.
And it's important to remember that VisualVerse is still pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to keep changing and getting better.
Oh, for sure.
The people who made it, they're adding new features
Yeah,
and making the algorithms better.
based on what users are saying.
So it's not just a one and done thing.
No.
It's constantly
It keeps growing.
growing.
Yeah.
So we've covered like how VisualVerse
Yeah.
works, what makes it different,
Yeah.
some of the challenges and surprises.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Well, now that we've got the basics down,
Okay.
let's get into how people are using VisualVerse in the real world.
Right.
Like artists, content creators,
Okay.
marketers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how they're innovating and making their work even better. And we'll talk about some of the bigger questions about AI art,
Ooh, all
like,
right.
like how it's changing the way art is made
Okay.
and how human creativity and AI are going to work together in the future.
Sounds like we're just getting started.
We are.
So stay tuned for more of our deep dive into VisualVerse.
It's going to be good.
We're going to unlock all the
There's
possibility
many
of
possibilities.
this revolutionary tool.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So we're in the middle of exploring VisualVerse,
Yeah.
this AI tool that's like mixing words and art.
It's pretty amazing.
Before the break, we talked about how it works and some of the things that make it special.
Right.
And we even talked about whether AI can actually be creative.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
For sure.
But we were also saying how it could change all sorts of fields,
Yeah.
not just art.
Holy.
So let's get into that.
Okay.
How are people using VisualVerse in the real world?
Well, one area that's really exciting is visual storytelling.
Oh, interesting.
Think about like a writer working on a novel. They could use VisualVerse to make images of their characters or settings,
Cool.
even key scenes from the book.
Wow.
It helps them really bring their story to life.
So it's like they can be their own illustrator.
Exactly.
Really? That's awesome.
And it's not just for books.
Oh, really?
Filmmakers are using it too.
Oh, wow. How?
To make storyboards or concept art.
That's so cool.
It helps them see their ideas early on.
So it's like a brainstorming partner.
Exactly, like a visual one.
I like that.
And it helps them explain their vision to their team.
That makes sense.
And, it's not just for these big projects either.
Yeah, what about like everyday stuff?
Exactly. Social media.
Oh, yeah.
People are using VisualVerse to make their posts look awesome.
That's cool.
They can make custom images or even design their profiles.
So you don't have to use those generic stock photos anymore?
Nope.
What about marketers?
Oh, they're loving this.
Yeah.
They can use it for targeted advertising.
Oh, how so?
They can make images that are specific to certain groups of people based on their interests or demographics.
So their campaigns are more effective.
Exactly.
That's really smart.
And don't forget about education.
Oh, yeah.
Teachers can use VisualVerse too.
Really?
They can create visuals for their lessons.
Well, that's a good idea.
It helps students understand things better.
Especially for those who learn visually.
Exactly.
It's like textbooks coming to life.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But let's talk about the big question.
Okay.
What's this doing to traditional artists?
Right.
I mean, some people are worried about AI taking over their jobs.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to change things.
But it's not like robots are replacing humans completely, right?
Right. It's more complicated than that.
So it's about adapting
Exactly.
and learning how to work with these new tools.
It's a shift in the creative process.
Okay, I like that.
So instead of spending all this time on the technical stuff,
Yeah,
artists can let the AI handle that.
makes sense.
And then they can focus on the ideas and emotions.
So it's like AI is doing the grunt work,
Yeah, in a way.
and then humans can be more creative.
It's about working together.
But what about originality?
Uh-huh.
If AI is learning from existing art,
Right.
can it really make something new?
That's the big debate right now.
Yeah.
And there's no easy answer.
Some people think AI is just copying old ideas
Yeah, they think it's all derivative.
because it's trained on all this human-made art. But other people think AI can bring something new to the table,
Yeah.
that it can mix things up in a way humans wouldn't think of.
It's like a collaborator pushing the boundaries of creativity.
So can a machine be original?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And if it can feel, what does that even look like?
It's like a mind puzzle.
It is.
It's a big conversation.
And it's just getting started.
We need to be having this conversation
We do.
as AI becomes more a part of our lives.
For sure.
It's not just about art.
It's about everything.
Yeah, it's about creativity itself.
Exactly.
So as we're figuring all this out, we need to remember that technology is a tool.
It is.
It's up to us to use it the right way.
We have to be responsible
So it helps us be creative.
and not take advantage of it.
This is a conversation for everyone.
It is.
Artists, developers, policymakers.
Everyone, we need to work together
To shape the future of AI.
so it benefits everyone.
And it's not just about avoiding the bad stuff.
Right.
It's about the good stuff too.
Like what?
Like how VisualVerse can make art more accessible
Oh, yeah.
to people who maybe don't have the skills or money to create it traditionally.
That's really cool.
Imagine anyone being able to make their artistic vision a reality,
Wow.
no matter who they are or what their background is.
That would be amazing.
That's the future AI could bring.
It's a future where anyone can be an artist.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's pretty awesome.
So we've talked about how VisualVerse is being used. We've talked about the big questions about AI and creativity. And we've even imagined a future where everyone can express themselves. Wow, we've covered a lot.
Before we wrap up,
Okay.
let's go back to something we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
that sense of community around VisualVerse.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just people creating alone.
Right.
It's people sharing their work
And inspiring each other.
and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
That's what makes it so special.
It's not just the technology.
It's the people.
And the community.
It's open to
From
everyone.
pros to beginners.
Everyone can experiment and collaborate.
And learn from each other.
Yeah.
Even with all this technology,
Uh-huh.
it's still about human connection.
It's at the heart of it all.
VisualVerse isn't just a tool for making art. It's a tool for building community. That's amazing.
It is.
I think it's time for a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back,
Yeah.
we'll wrap up our deep dive with some final thoughts.
All right.
Stick with us. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking all about VisualVerse, this AI tool that's really shaking things up in the art world.
It's definitely making waves.
Yeah. It's not just about the tech, though.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about what it means for creativity,
Right.
and how we think about art in the future.
It's making us ask some big questions.
It is, and it's been so interesting to see how people are using VisualVerse in different ways,
Yeah, like we were talking about before the break.
helping authors bring their stories to life,
Uh-huh.
giving everyday people the tools to make amazing art.
It's really exciting.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what are some of the big things our listeners should take away?
Well, I think the most important thing is that VisualVerse shows us how AI can help us be more creative.
It's not about replacing artists.
Exactly.
It's about giving them new ways to express themselves.
New tools, new possibilities.
It's like AI is becoming a partner in the creative process.
I like that, a partner.
But like with any powerful tool,
Hmm.
we have to use it responsibly.
Absolutely.
We need to think about the ethics of it all.
We have to make sure it's used for good.
And that means having conversations,
Yeah, lots of conversations.
not just with artists and developers,
Right.
but with everyone,
Policymakers, educators.
the whole community,
We need to be on the same page.
because this is going to affect all of us.
It really is.
AI is changing the world.
And it's happening fast.
So instead of being scared,
yeah.
let's be curious.
Let's be open to new things.
That's a great point.
And that's what VisualVerse is all about.
It's always evolving,
Learn.
pushing the limits,
It's amazing to see.
and we can do the same.
We can evolve too.
The future of creativity is wide open,
It's exciting.
and we get to shape it together.
I love that idea.
So as we leave our listeners to think about all of this,
Mhm.
I have one last question for them.
All right.
If you could paint with words, what story would you tell?
Ooh.
What world would you create?
What masterpiece would you make?
Let your imagination run wild.
There are no limits.
Maybe VisualVerse will be the tool that helps you share your vision with the world.
That would be amazing.
Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep.
See you soon.